My inspiration for relearning to touch type came from an extract from this book, The First 20 Hours by Josh Kaufman, who is the author of the best-selling The Personal MBA book. Anyways, so after I learned of Colmac's existence and of its efficiencies, I decided to learn. In my first stage of relearning to touch type, I began with a website called Colmac Club. There, I was able to type random words that it gave me, and most importantly, it provided 7 levels, each level adding additional letters. Now this was really important because having taken a similar approach with QWERTY, I felt it was very important to first learn the position of all of the letters before I began trying to type words. I just felt it was more efficient this way. In the beginning, I think I spent maybe 3 to 5 days on level 1, and then I was able to do level 2 maybe in 2 to 3 days. And then after that, I was able to add a level each day. And sometimes I would go back because sometimes I would be like, okay, I forgot the letters I learned yesterday, so I need to go back to that before I try to continue learning more. And once I was familiar with the position of all of the letters, then I switched to monkey type. And that is where I have been practicing ever since. Another thing worth mentioning in the early stage especially is that my head would ache a little bit sometimes because the amount of attention and focus and conscious intention to not go back to QWERTY, the effort to overcome my habitual response, my muscle memory that was already built in from QWERTY, was taxing. It was probably the most taxing part of this exercise, was just the mental part. And so really paying attention, really going through that part is really important, because if I had stopped because of the mental effort it took, then I wouldn't have continued. So I think taking breaks is very much something I recommend, because your head is going to ache a little bit if you're doing this seriously with the intention to really increase your typing speed to get from 9 words per minute to 20 words per minute. Those early stages are going to be the hardest, because after that, it's less. My head doesn't hurt in the same way now that it used to. And the middle stage, I think, was marked for me by when I realized that in QWERTY, I was making mistakes that were directly related to Colmac. And even though this might sound strange, I was glad I was seeing this, because it meant that enough Colmac had taken hold that it was now starting to really influence the way I would react to a keyboard, react to typing a word I wanted. Another feature of the middle stage is that I was starting to really increase my frequency of use of Colmac. So I would use Colmac to type a little bit of a script, a little bit of a newsletter, do a search on Google, maybe even type a little bit of an email. Not only was I using Colmac a little bit more, but I was actually using it in the context that I would be. So rather than just pure typing tests, which might just be quotes, which were quotes at this point, I was actually bringing it into the language that I would be that I type with. The next step came about 3 months after I had started this journey, and it was when I was able to get the Colmac application downloaded on my work computer. Because then I could practice at least one of the 40 hours a week I do at work. Even if I get, 30 minutes a day in, that's still an additional 2.5 hours a week of Colmac practice. And especially in this last week, late December, I was really using Colmac. Like, there was a day when I think I used Colmac like almost all day, if not all day. And so that's just been a really good transition and has allowed me to practice so much more. Another matter about this is about accuracy. Normally, when I do my typing tests, the results are basically always above 90%, usually in the 96 to 100 range. So I'm not really too concerned about that. I can feel if I have to backspace a lot, then I'll know I need to go slower because I'm making too many mistakes for this to be worth it. So what are my feelings now that I'm in the middle stage? Well, I'll say that I am at 45 to 55 words per minute. On the rare occasion, I'll go maybe 60 words per minute, but that's not regular. Now, my QWERTY typing speed is about 70 to 75 words per minute, and so there's a gap. I want to at least be able to reach my QWERTY typing speed, but ideally I want to reach 80 plus, 100 plus words per minute, and above that. I hope this video has offered you some inspiration, maybe in learning Colmac, or maybe just learning new things in general. In the description there is a Notion template which you can use to track your progress, and also gives a summary of the journey I explained in this video.